Hello, British Covidians. Good late afternoon. Had a bit of a trim, beard, hair, the full Monty. I want to come to you today and I want to start off with something really, really important. Something that's been happening for too long in our society, and the pace at which it's acceptably apparently happening is quickening. I hope you would agree with me that we are walking, crawling, perhaps even creeping into an increasingly fascist society. I don't think of Tories as Tories anymore. I think of them as fascists. Let me read you something that I wrote on Facebook this morning, okay? It'll be easier to read it and I can get it right and that'll introduce things, okay? The Tories now ban... Hang on a second, 1 second, I'm just going to get this back up on my screen again, okay? As the Tories now ban teaching the works of authors like George Orwell, 1984, and of course Animal Farm, so creeping fascism rules us in the UK. Now, I watched a film a while ago about the Spanish anti-fascists who helped get the photographs out that had been taken by a prominent Nazi in the concentration camp of Mauthausen. Look at the history behind that. So, when I hear the term anti-fascist, I look back at history in the time mentioned in that film. I look back to when Britain and pretty much the whole world were anti-fascists. I look at these people fighting to liberate the world from tyranny, control, oppression, and what even Churchill called a new dark age that threatened to engulf the whole world. Now, as part of the return of that creeping fascism works its way in, books critical of capitalism are going to be banned in schools. Take works like Catcher in the Rye, To Kill a Mockingbird, and texts which I grew up with in school. They can now no longer be taught or mentioned, or even read by school students. It will now be impossible for teachers of students of that age to even criticise the works or to even critique the works of Marx, Engles and Rosa Luxemburg in schools. Whole swathes of history will be off limits. The great thinkers of, say, Plato and the Republic will be banned from classrooms and school libraries. This is how fascism works, and this is something that is marking the end of our democracy in the UK. My dad always used to mention a well-known quote. I can't remember who it was from, but he always used to mention it. He used to say, "When books are burned, freedom is dead." Bearing in mind my father fought fascism with many, many others in World War II. He fought in the Far East and Burma. Look at this. When books are burned, freedom is dead. How long before, now that the Tories are banning anti-capitalist books or something, not allowing us to talk about them or even discuss them, how long before we can book a book burning torchlight parade online? Tiki torch Nazis, like in America. Tiki torch Nazis. How long before we can take out our tiki torches and we can burn the works of George Orwell, for example? Animal Farm, 1984. How long before we go from not allowing those works in schools to actively encouraging people to burn them. This is, I don't care whether you think of yourself as political, non-political, or anything. I don't really even care what party you support or don't support. I don't even care if you're not interested in politics. I care about liberty. I care about the thing that generations before fought for. I care about freedom of the press. I care about freedom of expression. I care about freedom of opinion. I care that people can read, can consult, can see, can make their own minds up about what they read. I care even that children can make their own minds up about what they read. Yes, of course, when they're very young, the texts and whatever to which they would be subject obviously must be age appropriate. I get that. I hardly think otherwise. But look what is happening in our society. Teachers forced back into classrooms. Nearly 2,000 schools affected by coronavirus. MPs who now vote that we should break international law, even the Good Friday Agreement, to get Brexit through. What is happening? I mean, I used to say, and I probably still do, scratch a Tory and you'll find a fascist. Well, you don't have to that's a scratch very deeply now, do you? The Tory party has become so right-wing, it has embraced fascism. It's embraced the likes of, Nigel Farage, what would have been the British National Party and whatever. They've become so right-wing. Boris is such a racist, such an Islamophobe, so anti-gay, yeah, that this has been embraced by the Tories, and this is now becoming, like it will be made public policy. How can you stand back and watch that happen? Parents, I plead with you, get on to your local councillors, get on to your local head teachers, get on to the Board of Education teachers in general, and tell them what you feel about not making those works available to even 13, 14, 15-year-olds to study. Tell them what you think. Did you, perhaps when you were young, did you read maybe Catcher in the Rye? Or other books very similar, like To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee? Did you read those books? Does it not bother you? Does it really not bother you that, for example, even in secondary school, our children may not be able to read the works of Marx, Engles, great minds, great political philosophers, yeah? All because you can't say anything against capitalism. It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. We live in a dictatorship, and we are creeping further and further towards fascism. Look back at history. Look what happened in Germany in the 1930s. Look what's happening here now, and look what's happening in America. Stand up. Be counted. Don't let these people succeed. Take care, friends. I know that sounds angry, but I'm so worried.